So Margie, come on up. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I am so honored to be here. As I said, I am Margie Schmid. I am a holistic nutrition coach, and I am here today to talk to you about how to live a life of health and vitality. So I get it. We're all small business owners or maybe large business owners. We have families. We have taxes, we have networking, we have marketing, we've got kids to drop off at school. And sometimes at the end of all of that, we don't have time for ourselves. And we end up taking a back seat to all of our commitments. But it doesn't have to be that way because you deserve so much more. And I hope that in this short time that I have with you, that I can inspire you and educate you and motivate you to live a life of health and vitality. So basically, I'm just going to go over what I consider to be the 5 goals, my 5 goals or my framework for holistic nutrition, holistic health, which starts with nutrition. We're going to talk about nutrition and exercise and stress reduction, sleep, and the power of connections. And like Les says, it is so important now more than ever that we have those connections because we lost so much during COVID and we need to find the power of those connections. So I could talk about all of these things for hours, but I promise I won't. I'm just going to give you some quick little takeaways. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to start with a why, right? Just like Simon Sinek tells us, start with your why. Once you know your why, you can determine your how and your what. We're also going to talk about how important it is to find your who's going to help you on this journey. And then we'll talk about the when and the importance in baby steps when determining your when. So are you ready? Yeah. All right, let's go. All right, I want to tell you about my why because everything starts with your why. So this is my dad. My dad was born in 1935. He weighed 1 pound and 3/4. He was not supposed to live, but he did. And he lived every single day of his life like it was a gift. In fact, that was his mantra to us growing up. Life is a gift, live it to the fullest. And he did. That bridge that you saw on my opening slide, it's a very special picture to me because in 1979, my dad swam 8 miles in the St. Croix River from the Stillwater Bridge to the Hudson Bridge. Wow. Just to do it, he said. He was a high school teacher and he was beloved by all of his students. He was an athlete, he was a swimmer, he was a runner. He was a phenomenal role model. He died of a massive heart attack at the age of 44. And all of the men on his side of the family died early of heart disease. On the right is my mom, my beautiful, brilliant mother, raised us, and after Dad died, she went back to school and became a licensed psychotherapist. Eventually, she had a private practice and was very successful. After Mom retired, we started to notice some cognitive decline. Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. A year ago, on Valentine's Day, Mom passed away from pneumonia. She had been taken to the hospital, and 2 days before she died, we found out that she also had stage 3, probably stage 4 cancer. So you see, folks, my genetic deck is stacked against me. I've got heart disease, I've got cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia. They are all knocking at my door. But I'm not going to let them in because here's what I know. Genetics do not determine your destiny. They play a part in it, for sure. But genetics load the gun. It's your lifestyle, your environment, and your nutrition that pull the trigger. And I'm not going to pull that trigger because here's the second part of my why. There's only 3 on this screen, but I have 6 beautiful grandchildren. And I am the grandma who initiates the dance parties. I am the grandma who says, let's have adventure day. Yes, I'll go swimming with you. Let's jump off that diving board. I intend to live this life that I have with health and vitality. And I intend to do it with intention. And I know that it just can't happen. And so that's my why. And I know that all of you have your own why, and you're probably thinking about it right now. And I encourage you to just kind of lock that in and just think about your why. What is your why? We all have it. That's where we start. So once you know your why, then you can determine your what and your how. You know your why, and then you make this goal. Okay, so then how are you going to get from that intention to the behavior change? And it starts with nutrition. Now, I could go on for hours about nutrition, and I'm going to keep it simple. So one of my rules is to eat more greens. Fill your plate with 75% leafy green vegetables. The more colorful, the better. In fact, each day, try to eat the rainbow. Eat the rainbow. Start with berries and spinach, and maybe in your morning smoothie, have a big salad with lots of peppers and carrots, and then at dinner have some more greens. Just make it a goal. Eat the rainbow. Simple. You want to make sure that you're also including a lean protein, and that can be a plant source or it can be an animal source. Just remember, if you're eating animal protein, that you are eating what they ate. And so you want it to be clean and lean. And speaking of clean, your carbohydrates are very important. Those carbohydrates come in many forms. The good ones are fruits and vegetables, sweet potatoes, wild rice, quinoa. And carbohydrates get a bad rap because of things like Fritos, Doritos, crackers, pasta, bread, donuts, all of those things that put you on a blood sugar roller coaster ride. Those are the carbohydrates you want to avoid. Try to keep away from the ones that have a package list of 18 different ingredients, most that you can't pronounce. So you want to have your clean carbohydrates, your lean protein, and healthy fat. Now, I don't know about anybody else in this room, but I spent the better part of 2 decades thinking that if I ate fat, I'd become fat. And that's about as ridiculous as thinking if I ate blueberries, I would become blue. Because it doesn't happen that way, folks. Fat is essential for all parts of our nutrition. We need it for our cognition, we need it for our brain, we need it for our heart, we need it for our skin. It's the trans fats that give fat a bad name. And so what we need are healthy fats that come from sources like olive oil and avocados and avocado oil, nuts, seeds, salmon. It's the healthy fats that we need. So that's nutrition in a nutshell. Eat more plants, 75% of your plate. Get your lean proteins and your clean fats and clean carbohydrates. That's the nutrition piece, but it doesn't stand alone. You need to add in the exercise. Exercise is like miracle grow for your brain. It increases cognition, it increases memory, it decreases anxiety, it decreases ADHD. There are so many things that moving your body does for you. And yet, how many of us feel like we spend so much time sitting in front of our computers? Exercise has to be intentional, but it doesn't have to be a torture. What's the best kind of exercise you can do? The exercise that you will do, because it doesn't matter. Move your body in a way that you love to move your body. If it's dancing for 30 minutes a day, do it. Put on your favorite playlist and dance to your heart's desire. If it's riding your bike, playing pickleball, going for a walk, it doesn't matter. Just make a commitment to move your body. Your health depends on it. So you can have the perfect nutrition and you can exercise every single day, but if you're not managing your stress, you are not going to lead a life of optimal health. because stress destroys so much for our health. When we are in chronic stress, we create a lot of cortisol in our body. And that cortisol lands right here, right around our belly. And that belly fat leads to heart disease and diabetes. And when we're constantly living in that state of fight or flight, the thinking isn't as clear as you want it to be. And so learning how to manage your stress is so important. You can't avoid stress, it's everywhere, right? You have a job, you drive a car, you interact with people, you have families. You can't avoid stress. You just have to find your way of dealing with it. And maybe that's through a walk. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's as simple as taking 5 deep breaths when you start to feel that anxious feeling. Do something intentional to move yourself from that fight, flight, or freeze place to the rest and relax place. Speaking of resting and relaxing, sleep is another part of your optimal health. The research tells us that we need to sleep 7 to 9 hours a night, and not many people get that. And additionally, those 7 to 9 hours need to be good restorative sleep. So if you're on your phone right up until the minute that you close your eyes, you're not going to get restorative sleep, because the blue light from your phone is tricking your brain into thinking that it no longer needs to make melatonin. And so thinking about your sleep with intentionality is crucial. We all had bedtime routines for kids, or those of you that have little kids, you've got a bedtime routine for them. Make a bedtime routine for you and make sleep a priority, because research tells us that when we don't get enough sleep, we tend to overeat. We tend to have more cortisol running through our body, and lack of sleep is also connected to Alzheimer's and dementia. So it's not a priority. It's not a luxury. It is a priority. And then finally, when you are determining your what and your how, you need to think about the power of connections. You're all here because you like to connect, because you see the power of connecting. And it's not just the power of connecting for your business, you need that for your health. Research is telling us now that loneliness is as detrimental to your health as smoking. And think about what the pandemic did to all of us in terms of connections. We are isolated. We're looking at the world through the lens of fear and uncertainty. And we didn't have those connections, and they're so important. Those connections really lead you then to your who. To your who. Who is going to support you on this journey? Who is going to hold you accountable and lift you up and empower you? Maybe it's your friend that'll just go for a walk with you. Maybe you find a coach to help you out on this journey. Maybe you go to an exercise class. It doesn't matter who, but find someone to empower you to share this journey with. And then, when? When are you going to do this? Well, hopefully right away. But are you going to do all of it? Tomorrow morning, are you going to wake up and have stellar nutrition, exercise every day, have no stress, sleep like a baby, and have great connections? Probably not. But you can take baby steps in the right direction every single day. And you can habit stack one habit on top of another for your health, because you are worth it. You deserve to lead a life of health and vitality. Thank you so much.